A short story by Paul McCann entitled The Search for Love. Tom had been alone most of his life and never really knew what love was all about. Most of his friends had disappointed him with how they viewed him as a person. They called him a dreamer and said he was naive. Tom thought that most of the people he knew were wrong. He went along, turning his back on those who treated him cruelly. With no family or friends, life hadn't been kind to him, and yet he remained at peace with the world and those around him. After giving it a lot of thought, he decided he would try and find love. So he sat down and wrote a note. And the note read, "My name is Tom, and I'm searching for love. So if you find this note and know where love is, I would be very grateful if you would tell me. Yours truly, Tom." He put the note in an envelope and addressed it to Love Anywhere on Earth. And then he went to the post office to post it, but on the way he lost the letter. He felt upset that his search for love had ended up lost, so he decided to have another attempt to find love. So he wrote another note, and the note read, "My name is Tom, and I'm looking for love. Once I thought I might find love, but somehow it got lost. So I'm trying again. If you find my little note in a wooden boat, and you know where love is, I would be grateful if you could tell me. Yours truly, Tom." So Tom put the wooden boat in a bag, and he took the train to the seaside, where he placed the wooden boat into the water and watched it float away from him out to the sea. But shortly afterwards the little boat sank after being hit by a breaking wave. Tom was upset that the second attempt to find love had failed, and he sat up all night thinking what to do next. And then he had an idea, so he went to bed and slept soundly until morning. He got up and he had breakfast, and then he put his plan into action. Picking up the telephone, he rang the operator, and when she answered, he said, "Hello, my name is Tom, and I'm looking for love. Could you please connect me with someone who might know where to find it?" The operator immediately disconnected the call, which really upset Tom, who now had nothing left to say. He felt life wasn't being very fair. He had 3 times tried to find love, and each attempt had not been successful. He sat in silence of his house, and he thought about what he would do next. And the next day at work, Tom decided that he might ask some of his work colleagues where he might find love. He was delighted with the response, and they gave him lots of places to try, like checking out some of the local pubs, placing an advert in the newspaper, or joining some dating sites. One by one, Tom followed up the prompts that he was given, and it wasn't long before he started to meet some prospective lady friends. As the weeks passed into months, Tom had spent a fortune on buying gifts, flowers, jewellery, dinner dates, photographers, movie shows, excursion trips, a new car, and mobile phones, and still he was unable to find love. Feeling exhausted and tired of looking for love, he came to the conclusion that love never existed. He had given up hope, and was so tired of looking for love that he came to the conclusion he'd not look any more. He had nothing left to say, and strangely enough, he felt okay. It wasn't the end of the world, and it was just the end of his search, and he had survived the experience. And it was at this point when love found him. One morning as he was walking to work, he found the envelope that he had lost. Someone had hung it from the branch of a tree, and inside the envelope there was a message that read, "If you are the owner of this note, my answer to your question is yes. I found what you are looking for. Look no further. Your search is over. I will wait for you if you can find me. Look for me in Friendship Forest." Tom was so excited that he had found his lost note and that someone had answered his message. He started doing some research to the whereabouts of Friendship Forest and discovered that it was in a distant place called Clarkson. Immediately he went to the travel agent and booked himself a ticket to that spot. A few days later he arrived there and went walking through the forest, and he saw an envelope hanging from a branch. On the front of the envelope a message said, "You have found love." Tom quickly opened the envelope and read the note that someone had wrote. It said, "Hello, I can see your love is true and you have travelled far to be here. So I know that you are serious, and I am so glad I have found you. I have searched all my life to meet someone like you, and if you could meet me on Lover's Pathway, our journey together can begin. Hold this letter in your hand when you arrive as a symbol of our love." Tom started researching where Lover's Pathway was and discovered that it was in a distant place within a national park high above the sea, and he booked a ticket to travel there. When he arrived there, he looked around for a few days and he started to see the beautiful scenery of Lover's Pathway. He held tightly onto the note as he stood there admiring the work of the talented graffiti artists. Suddenly a lady approached and placed a golden handcuff around his wrist. The other was attached to hers. Tom was taken by surprise. The beautiful lady kissed him on the lips and stood there enchained to his side. She smiled and then she whispered, "My name is Grace, and now we have found love." Tom was love-struck for the first time in his life. Now he knew at last what it was like to be in love. He looked into her eyes and he said, "I love you, Grace. My name is Tom." And she replied, "Love is a beautiful thing, Tom, and well worth finding." Tom replied, "I've searched for love everywhere." "But love found you, Tom," the lady replied, and she continued, "And here on this pathway our journey has just begun." Tom said, "I can't believe that this has happened to me." She replied, "When I first saw you drop that note you wrote, I picked it up and knew in my heart that I had found someone who was true. And I hoped you would find my reply. And now, after all of my notes you have found, here we are, together." Then she took a key from her pocket and unlocked the handcuffs. The handcuffs were chained with a padlock to a fence where they had left, together with other people who had left love locks, as a symbol of their love for each other. And they walked away from that place. Tom and Grace were married on a beautiful morning in Rome, and after their honeymoon in Paris, they began to live a life together. They bought a home in a not so distant place where they lived and loved as if tomorrow never existed. Every day Tom and Grace continued to leave secret little love notes to each other. Each message had different words, but the message was the same. I love you. The end.